On December 7, 1941, the United States Army had 1.68 million men, but only around 17,000 officers to lead them. The average age of majors was nearly 48. In the National Guard, nearly 1/4 of first lieutenants were over 40 years old, and the senior ranks were dominated by political hacks. Not a single officer on duty in 1941 had commanded a unit as large as a division in World War I. The Army was about to explode to 8 million men over the next 4 years. By the end of 1943, there were 300,000 officers, 20 times more than in 1940. The chain of command started with a second lieutenant. Enlisted men wore their rank on their sleeves, but officers has their rank pinned on their shoulders and collars. Fresh out of officer candidate school, and suddenly you're responsible for a platoon, 3 rifle squads, a weapons section, plus HQ personnel. Your platoon sergeant is probably 35, been in the Army for 10 years, and knows more about leading soldiers than you'll learn in the next 6 months. You led from the front. You were the one with the map, the radio, and the responsibility. When your captain said, "Take that hill," you figured out how to do it. And if you were good, if you kept your men alive and completed the mission, you might make first lieutenant. But first, you had to survive being the new guy with one shiny gold bar. Now you're the XO, the company's number 2. You handled logistics, personnel, training schedules, supply coordination, all the things that kept 190 men fed, equipped, and ready to fight. In combat, if the captain went down, the company was yours. Captain, this was the command. A rifle company, your company. 3 rifle platoons, a weapons platoon, headquarters section. 190 men who answered to you. Their lives, their missions, their survival, all on your shoulders. Most captains were in their late 20s or early 30s. In combat, you coordinated 3 platoons, called in fire support, reported to battalion, and made split-second decisions that meant life or death. Major. Now you're at battalion headquarters. Most majors served as the battalion XO, second in command to the lieutenant colonel. You coordinated between the companies, handled logistics, and kept the battalion running while the lieutenant colonel commanded. Lieutenant colonel. The battalion is yours. When regiment gave you an objective, it was your plan. You coordinated 4 companies, artillery support, air support, logistics for 900 men in combat. Most battalion commanders were in their mid to late 30s, combat veterans who'd proven they could handle the chaos. Colonel, a regiment, 3 battalions under your command, roughly 3,000 men. You reported directly to the division commander, Major General or Brigadier General. You're operating at a scale where you're thinking in terms of miles of front, multiple objectives simultaneously, coordinating with adjacent regiments. Most colonels were in their 40s, career officers who'd spent 20+ years working up through the ranks. Brigadier General. This was the entry point to general officer ranks. Major General. A division is the basic fighting formation of the Army, roughly 14,000 men. Lieutenant General, Corps Commander. Anywhere from 2 to 5 divisions, depending on the theater and mission. You're coordinating 40,000 to 100,000 plus men across dozens of miles of front. General, an entire army. Multiple corps under your command, potentially 200,000 to 500,000 men or more. Patton commanded the 3rd Army. Bradley commanded the 12th Army Group. MacArthur commanded Southwest Pacific Theater. You reported directly to Washington, D.C. General of the Army, 5 stars. The rank was created so American commanders would outrank their British counterparts, who held the rank of Field Marshal. 5 stars, for life. They never retired, never went on inactive status. They stayed on active duty and on the payroll until they died. And that's the officer corps of the U.S. Army in World War II, from 2nd lieutenants to 5-star generals. If you want to know about the enlisted ranks, I've got another video on that. And if you're curious about the Navy or the Marines, I've covered those too. Thanks for watching. See you next time.